Hey friends, thanks for tuning in. It is Monday, September 19th, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll wait a minute here for some more friends to join in. Thanks for the likes and the views. And I hope you had a good weekend. We're going to look at the usual stuff, broader market, the dollar, where Bitcoin stands, a couple names that are stronger altcoins, some weaker altcoins, and all that fun stuff. Before we get into it, little bit of housekeeping. Tomorrow we've got a live public stream at 9 a.m. Eastern. So it'll be for the stock market open. I cover commodities, the dollar, I cover crypto very briefly, but essentially how we prepare for the trading day and how we approach the trading day and what we do every day as a part of the Chart Guys community. Just giving a little open house view of that. Over the weekend, put out some more content. Had that talk with Big Cheds on Friday. And I re-uploaded that video. I did a bad job of re-uploading it because it is poor quality. But if you go to his channel, which is Cheds Trading, it's a better quality version of that. But a very fun talk and a lot of good feedback on that. So check it out if you have not yet. And also put out this video, 3 traits of a successful trader, very quick, but something to think about psychologically if you are struggling with patience, emotional control, or discipline. And on Twitter, I put out the blooper version of that video, which was fun as well. So that catches us up with what's going on the charts today. Hey, Ron, Hector, Coran, and Short Bus. So, NASDAQ held the low of Friday, broke the high of Friday, but just barely. So it's pretty much a double top. We're just tightening up right now. We got the FOMC on Wednesday. That's the big event from here. We know that we're going to see volatility, and the last couple, not psychedelic events, the last couple fundamental events that we've had have been bearish reactions. Big bear reaction to CPI. Big bear reaction to Powell speaking a couple Fridays ago. So watching if we get another big bear reaction to the FOMC. But that is 2 p.m. exactly 48 hours from now. That will be taking place, so be prepared for that volatility. So NASDAQ pretty much just tightening up here, and it's a 15-minute equilibrium right now. So we got the low of the day, high of the day, higher low, lower high. So we're tightening up in a sideways range. The bulls are attempting to confirm an hourly trend change in their favor. Let's go to QQQ. It's more clear for me. So they're attempting to confirm the hourly trend change, but we would need a new high of the day for that to happen. So a whole bunch of sideways. The bulls are pleased with today just because we stopped the bleeding at the moment. And we didn't break the low of Friday. But bulls aren't proving a whole lot at this point. And we can see QQQ is currently in a little 5-minute downtrend. So sideways day is what it boils down to. The dollar is still very strong overall. We're watching to see, do we form a lower high and tighten up a bit on the dollar? Or do we just break 110.78 and see continuation of this strong uptrend? And it's the same thing. It's an inside bar today. So it's a sideways range day compared to Friday, very much like what stocks are doing. And we would have to see this inside bar break bear for the lower high to be set and for a tightening daily range to form. So Bitcoin had a big drop. Bitcoin bounced on Saturday, and then Sunday into futures open dropped very hard. We dropped from 20,000 down to 18.2, almost a 10% drop, roughly a 9% drop or so. And again, we're in a weekly, keep in mind, we're in a monthly, weekly, daily, 12-hour, 4-hour downtrend. The only uptrends we have are on the very short-term time frames. So into the weekend, I posted this on Twitter, but just a review of that. Let me see if I can just bring up that post. But the point was, someone asked, where would you be looking long at this point? And that was on this bounce on Saturday, because most of crypto was green at that point. And so, okay, we got a bunch of green. Where do I want to go long? And the answer is I don't want to go long here. I want to be looking short for the lower high. So when broader markets are closed, what information am I looking at to gauge if I'm a buyer here? And the answer is the trends. We're in a downtrend on all these time frames, so I don't like the risk to reward of longing here. I would rather wait to scout the daily lower high short. It's a more probable trade if I'm trading with the trend. And so aggressive bears are watching for the potential of this to be an hourly rising wedge. If confirmed, it'll be a 12-hour lower high, yada, yada. And so that ended up confirming, and that hourly rising wedge marked our daily lower high. And the bears took over from there. So again, just keep in mind that yes, there will be bounces on the way down, but as long as the prevailing trends are bearish, the higher probability setups will be with that trend. If I am forced to go long in a bearish market environment, it's the stronger names, the relatively stronger names. And we'll look at a couple of those. Atom and CHZ are the ones that come to mind here. But again, remember our RSI levels. So Bitcoin just bounced, and straight off the low, we never changed the hourly trend bullish. We went from 18.2 to 19.4, 5% plus bounce this morning because the broader market was getting a bit of a bounce going. Never changed the hourly trend. 15-minute RSI hit above 70 for the first time since we topped out on Saturday, and that helped mark a top. 15-minute overbought conditions. Just looking at a 4-hour EMA 12 resistance test, still in a 4-hour downtrend, have not changed the hourly trend bullish. All of these things have us scout bearish entries. So this morning, pre-market, maybe 6 hours ago, more than that, 8 hours ago, headed into the morning saying, if I'm a bear, I'm waiting for a 4-hour lower high to be looking for the next short. And so when you get that bounce of 5% with no hourly trend change straight into EMA 12 resistance, that's when you start looking for that 4-hour lower high. We just confirmed a 15-minute downtrend. Hourly consolidation is underway. If the bulls can confirm an hourly trend change, the 4-hour bounce will be big enough at that point to be scouting a 4-hour higher low to be the result of next consolidation. But at the moment, it's an oversold bounce, cooling off RSI levels, and not doing much else aside from that. Change the hourly trend bull, and we'll say, okay, maybe this can shape up into a daily bounce. This is the support zone where the bulls are trying to defend 17.5. And you can see 18.5. We broke below it, but now back above it. And we bounced around this support zone a number of times over the last few months. So this is essentially full bear control of trends and bulls doing everything they can to play defense with their backs against the wall at support, which is the lowest levels that we've seen in the last year. If 17.5 breaks, the next level that we're looking towards will be 16.2. And we'll take it from there. But for me to shift my perspective to have confidence in looking at the crypto space as a whole, again, I can have confidence looking at an individual name bullish. I can't have confidence in the whole space as long as we're in a daily downtrend. I have to break that daily downtrend. I mean, when's the last time we've seen a daily higher low and higher high? And the answer is, since we topped out at the weekly lower high on Bitcoin mid-August, 2 months ago, we have not seen a daily higher low and higher high uptrend. So that's a bare minimum. Give me a daily higher low and higher high uptrend, and I will shift my perspective to be looking a little bit more bullish. And again, if you find yourself that you just can't stop looking bullish, number one, try and practice discipline, which I talked about in that video that I just pointed out. But number two, find the stronger names. We'll look at Ethereum in just a second, but Atom is a stronger name. It's a daily uptrend. So Atom with a daily uptrend, we were looking at the high of resistance, the low of support, double top. And in that live stream a couple days ago or last Friday, whenever it was, I highlighted the number one reason you will change correlation. We talk about correlation all the time, and it changes all the time. But you have names that are bullish and bearish. The number one reason a correlation will change is a key hold of support or resistance. So Atom has bull correlation and is chugging along, and it hits a double top of daily resistance, and that bull correlation shifts very notably. This drop that we saw on Atom on Sunday was one of the larger percentage drops out of altcoins. What is a relatively stronger name doing with one of the biggest drops? It's because we rejected from a key resistance level. Because when you reject from that resistance level, you got a bunch of bears piling in on the top fish, and you got a bunch of longs exiting their positions. So now we got a daily equilibrium. And anything above 1322 is a daily high or low. So into the weakness yesterday, I looked at Atom and I looked at the RSI down in the mid to low 20s. And I said, aggressive Atom bulls are looking for an hourly oversold bounce. Anything over 1322 is a daily high or low. So I looked at this chart and I said, okay, well, for me, a daily high or low is probably the most likely scenario for a continued tightening range and just a standard old equilibrium. And if we're going to form a daily high or low, seeing hourly RSI at the most beat up it's been in a couple weeks is a decent time to start scouting. So an aggressive bear, I made that post it just before 7 p.m. So an aggressive bear is going to be looking to enter into that weakness, or an aggressive bull, I should say. And a patient bull is going to miss that bounce and then say, okay, well, maybe there's a support level I can play off of. Those are two different trade styles. An aggressive bull looking to enter for a daily high or low in extreme hourly conditions is going to scale in a couple entries, an entry here, an entry here, an entry here, stop loss based on dollar risk. You've got no supports to go off of. If you miss the initial bounce or intentionally pass up on that initial bounce, you now have a level to go off of. 1457 must hold if we're going to shape up an hourly trend change, if we're going to see a daily high or low try and form. So then I can just use that level as my stop and have a much more clearly defined risk and reward setup as far as, well, how big a position do I want to take? And so all of this is in hindsight. And if you want to pass up on this, I completely agree with that. Because again, if the entire sector is weak, the only people that should be trading that bull trade are full-time traders with many years of experience that are very comfortable with oversold bounces. And so for me, I saw that setup, I made that post, and then I said, I don't feel like spending my Sunday night trying to trade counter trend. And so I didn't. And I have no regrets on passing up that trade. It ended up being a nice one, going 10% from those lows. But again, if I have clearly said in my mind, in the cryptocurrency space, I am not going to start actively trading bullish again if we're in a daily downtrend. And so that's just keeping it simple for me. And that's keeping me from sinking a ton of time into trying to find trades when I can just very clearly look at the daily time frame and say, nope, I'm not ready yet. And again, when I am ready, it will be a decent amount off the lows. I won't be nailing the bottom, but I would much rather have the wind at my back and a bit off the bottom than the wind in my face trying to nail the bottom. And that's just me personally. What would be required for me to be looking bullish if we keep downtrends? Free fall under 17.5, daily, 12-hour, 4-hour, 15-minute, 5-minute, hourly, all those time frames in extremes, just like the last time. When I played Bitcoin after the 20,000 flush and scaled into the 18s and 17s, I was doing so in the face of all bear downtrends, but my criteria of extreme RSI levels on a ton of time frames was being met. And again, that's what we call the super stack alert for our Trader Pro alert system. It's identifying when that lines up. When all these time frames have crushed RSI, super stack fires, and that's when I get interested. It's the only time I'm going to be interested playing counter trend bullish in the crypto space. So, hourly, bulls have to change the trend. We're watching our retracement size. If we retrace over 50%, we'll be watching for an hourly equilibrium. And at this point, retracement is approaching 50%. Hourly stair step was another signal. The hourly inside bar broke bear at 19,000. We don't have much follow through at this point, but at least an indication of the bull move topping out. So Atom, long story short, Atom now needs a 4-hour trend change. So a bull is saying, okay, well, if I want to make an attempt here, it's maybe entering 2 positions, trying for a higher low compared to 1457. If 1457 breaks, my thesis is wrong. A daily higher low is not shaping up. If 1457 holds, the bulls must confirm the 4-hour trend change for the daily higher low to be set. And this happened already. This same 2-day tightening range tightened up and then broke bull, and bulls are hoping the same thing happens. This was the higher low in that tightening range, and bulls were hoping this is a higher low. But 4-hour trend change back to the bulls needed, and the biggest area of concern is this double top on Atom BTC. Because if Atom BTC double tops and loses the 4-hour higher lows from here, then that's going to be a notable red flag. Because we have had a daily uptrend. Again, I look at this and I say, the character of this chart is a strong uptrend, and that has been the case for months. So if we lose daily EMA 12, if we lose the daily uptrend for the first time in over 2 months, that is a big flashing sign for me that says the market environment for Atom is changing and its status as a lead bull is at risk of being lost. So pay attention to Atom BTC here with that initial rejection from resistance. ETHUSD has been a weaker name ever since the merge. The clue for me, as I've been saying, my fundamental analysis of the merge was ETHBTC, and as soon as this happened right there, it's a sell the news event for me. And I am no longer bullish Ethereum. There's stronger coins out there, and Ethereum has shifted to much weaker since that happened. Ethereum is in a weekly lower high, lower low pattern still. So most altcoins, most crypto in general has not confirmed weekly uptrends. Lower high, lower low. So we are in a weekly, daily, 4-hour downtrend. EMA 12 resistance, potential 4-hour bear flag still. I mean, this bounce that we saw this morning is weak enough that a bear flag is on the table. And we do our retracement size, and we got fairly close to 50% retracement, but if that EMA 12 is resistance on the 4-hour, it's a potential bear flag for me. And ETHBTC is doing the same thing, which a bear wants to see. So we know that the spotlight in the ideal bull scenario is when the altcoin and the altcoin Bitcoin pairing are doing the same thing. They've got the same uptrend going. We have the opposite right now, where ETHUSD is in a downtrend and ETHBTC is in the same downtrend. And so that's keeping it a weaker name. Another lead bear, Waves. Any name that has dropped and broken the low of December, of the summer, June, July, is clearly a lead bear. So Waves, yesterday, we had a base of support, 416, 413, 413, and we broke that level and dropped real hard. That was a 10% gift, where, look at that 10-minute drop. That's just everybody's stop losses triggering, because everybody's watching the same support. And so all those stop losses trigger, and granted, you would have to be quick on the trigger to maximize that 10% drop, because very quickly it was only a 5% drop after 30 minutes. But Waves is a lead bear. We've been seeing that for a while. There's been periods where it's shifted, but who else are lead bears? The metaverse names have been for a long time. They're trying to shift their momentum. So not going to just take it for granted and assume that they're going to be lead bears. Let's keep an eye on this for a shift. Mana, BTC, weekly bear flag confirmed without much follow through. We're trying for monthly higher lows now. So Mana BTC, Sand BTC, monthly higher low attempt, a lot of work to do. But for me, that just means it's not as easy a setup anymore for the bears. I'd be more cautious as a bear on these names if their BTC pairing continues to see signs of some bounce follow through. Ape has been extremely strong. Ape has been extremely volatile. Extremely weak, then extremely strong. I'm just viewing this as an equilibrium. I'm viewing that as a high, low, lower, high, higher, low, and failing to break 581 resistance here. So let's see if this 12-hour time frame tightens up a bit more into tomorrow. But the more this tightens up, the more it tells us, get ready because volume and volatility are coming when this breaks. Link giving a lot back. Link bulls are trying to hold 698 support. So high, low, lower, high. Bears trying to confirm the daily downtrend. What's Binance BTC doing? Still holding on. Weekly still strong. So this is another one. If Binance BTC loses weekly higher lows for the first time in 3 months, 3.5 months, it will stand out very clearly to us. But it's still holding for now, so that's not happening. But we're watching. I always want to find something on a chart that I'm paying attention to that I can just make it as simple and clear as possible. If the dollar loses weekly EMA 12, something's going to change. It'll be the most notable change in the dollar's chart that we've seen in 6 months. So I want to find something like that for everything that I'm charting. What would make this notably different from what we've been seeing over the last few months, and just clearly identify it and then watch for that to happen. Because we must be able to catch these shifting market environments, because if we trade with a certain style and in a certain way and in a certain direction, and it works really well in one market environment, it's probably not going to work well in the other environment. And the faster we can recognize the environment has changed, the more profits we can preserve, the more capital we can preserve by recognizing that shift. So just like backburners, we use 5-minute oversold backburners to play bounces when we're in strong uptrends, but as soon as we lose those daily uptrends and we're now in daily downtrends, those backburners become a lot less reliable for bulls, and they become a lot more reliable for bears. All right, I'm reading the chat room now. We've only got 63 likes. Where is everybody today? Luna C. So LUNC, 12-hour trend change attempt, and tightening up. So I'm viewing this as the low of the pullback, 12-hour lower high, higher low. We just tried the 12-hour trend change, and we're failing initially. Have to break that level for a convincing daily bounce to be underway. And then we would scout. At that point, I'd probably go to the 2-day time frame and scout a 2-day lower high compared to where we came from. But I do like the 12-hour for clarity right now, knowing that if we do not break 335, bulls aren't going anywhere. So bulls need to set an hourly. I don't like I'm sticking to the 12-hour. I don't like the clarity on the shorter term time frames. Bears keep control if the 12-hour lower highs remain. That has to change. So this is just a mini version of what I just said. I talked about multiple months and looking for something that's going to change the chart from the way that it's been for months. This would be something that would change the chart from the way that it's been for a week and a half. If 12-hour lower highs break, it'll be different than what we've been seeing for the last 9 trading days. If they don't break, then nothing changes, and the 12-hour lower highs remain. How do you calculate volume? So I just estimate. I do a rough estimation, and it's very rough, but it's good enough for me. So I look at Bitcoin, and I look at the volume. I say, okay, 25,000 coins traded. And I look at the daily range. I just look at the midway point. So the low is 18.2, the high is 19.5. Midway point there is maybe 18.9, right around there. So I can multiply 25,000 by 18,900 and get a very rough dollar volume amount of what's been traded today. So volume multiplied by a rough midway point of the day's range. Sol BTC, nice and tight. Double bottom on the daily, lower highs on the daily. Bulls just played some nice defense. It's another one, again, we're watching for monthly higher lows now. These alt BTC pairings are trying to set monthly higher lows to shape up monthly trend changes. But the burden's on bulls because they're monthly bear flags. You know, I look at this and you say, what's this pattern for Sol BTC? It's a monthly bear flag. So I have to see the bulls prove to me that it is not a monthly bear flag by changing that trend there. But keep an eye on this Sol BTC chart because this sideways range, we've been trading within it for almost 2 weeks. It's likely going to break within the next maybe 3 trading days or so. Certainly likely to break this week. And we have a very clear base of support now that bulls must maintain. If that double bottom, if that triple bottom is lost, it's a red flag for Sol bulls. Nice response to that support with today's daily candle. Step 2, LTC BTC. So weekly is still battling to try and hold EMA 12. And if we hold EMA 12, then that's a win for the bulls. A small win after it's been resistance for so long. But we need a daily trend change back to the bulls to have any confidence that a weekly high or low is shaping up. And we're just in a daily downtrend. So I view this as bull flag attempt, rejecting on a double top, daily downtrend confirmed, lower high, eventual lower low, double top, higher low, lower high low. We're just setting lower highs every bounce. So the daily chart has to break the daily lower highs that keep forming or bulls aren't going anywhere. How do you know how many coins are trading? You just, the volume bar tells you. You just hover over the volume bar and it tells you in the top left corner. Link BTC, still a daily uptrend. Got to be cautious of that rising wedge because we break resistance with no follow through here. Something like that. It could also just be a channel. Although with this most recent, I would do something like this. But it's a daily uptrend. We're looking for a daily high or low. We got EMA 12 support. The concern for the bulls is these breaks are lacking follow through. We double topped. We broke resistance. Must set a higher low and higher high with follow through to stay a relative bull and to not fade and lose that relative bullish strength. Bull cross of the EMAs on the weekly is a good sign. Weekly uptrend being maintained is a good sign. So there's no major red flags. Again, when I look at this chart, I got to put on my bear glasses to tell me what do I need to keep an eye out for. What would give me a red flag? And I would say losing daily EMA 12 would be the first little red flag. But overall, certainly compared to many other coins, Link is standing out a good bit stronger than Bitcoin. Keeping in mind, Bitcoin and Ethereum and a bunch of other coins have already broken this low here, which Link is not close to testing yet. That supports another 12% to the downside. What one pattern would I suggest to focus on to master it? The equilibrium first. It's the most common pattern. Higher lows, lower highs, tightening ranges. It happens after volatility. You see declining volume as ranges tighten up. And then the break of the equilibrium sees a spike in volume and volatility. You can play the breaks. You can play within the equilibrium when you get used to them. But it's the most common pattern in my opinion. SPY is still within its range, still looking for the 15-minute high or low. Plenty of time. Well, maybe not plenty of time. 90 minutes left in the day. We might stay within these 15-minute equilibriums into the close. I'm long the biotech sector right now, so I'm liking that it's testing the high of the day, showing relative strength. I'll go over the trade review for the biotech sector in the end of the day market video, but it's a good one in terms of I wasn't looking bullish at all today, and then reacted to the price and the setup that was shown to me, and a good comparison of multiple time frame analysis as well as using the broader market as my main factor and applying the broader market setup to an individual sector setup. And definitely a trading style that you can apply to crypto as well. Looking at an altcoin, comparing Bitcoin to where the altcoin stands. I'll go over that in depth in 2 hours in the end of the day market video. Do I still like my chair? I mean, a chair is a chair to me. I was on a stool for a while. I've been on a yoga ball. I'm not very picky, but yes. CHZ. So CHZ is definitely a stronger coin. Weekly higher low set. Off EMA 12 support. Keeping a bull flag possible. We just had a bear break with 0 follow through. This was a falling wedge. So look at the 12-hour here. Not a great one in terms of nice and tight. Nah, I don't like calling that a falling wedge. It was a daily downtrend. The bear break saw 0 follow through straight into a notable high volume bounce. And very quickly, our weekly higher low was set. Bulls didn't get much chance here. It would have been easy to miss this trade because, again, you break support. Bears keeping control. Daily downtrend remains intact. And even on this 4-hour bounce, we pretty much just V-shaped. We didn't even change the 4-hour trend convincingly before we had already gone 20%, over 20%. So I can look at that and say, this move would have been very easy for me to miss, even if I was stalking for a weekly higher low. Stalking, S-T-A-L-K. And that just means, when I say stalking or scouting, it means knowing what I'm looking for and observing for it to present itself. So that's one where I look at it and say, if I miss it, I don't get too hard on myself because that was a tricky one for sure. Just with the complete reversal without much opportunity to enter on consolidation. All right, just one or more. That's about it. One more question here. Already talked about Ethereum, ETH, BTC, downtrend as long as it remains. Bears stay confident. Did we already look at Algo BTC? Nope. Algo BTC, sideways weekly range just broke bull. Need to maintain this 4-hour uptrend. If you break bull and then lose the 4-hour uptrend straight away, it's a red flag. 16.94 broke, but have to see a 4-hour higher low into continuation for this move to stick. Otherwise, it's a bull break with 0 follow through, which would be a red flag for the bulls. Whole bunch of resistance in the 16s here. Best time frame to scout an equilibrium for day trades? Probably the 15-minute, because I like not having to trade the morning rush, and these 15-minute equilibriums will very likely form, or I should say very often form midday, late morning into the afternoon. So low of the day, high of the day, higher low. So a bear here can scout a lower high. Anything under 289.99. We then zoom in. If we lose the 2-minute uptrend, it's the first indication a 15-minute lower high is being set. We then pull back, and now we're forming a 15-minute higher low. And we're tightening up. But I'd say 5 and 15-minute equilibriums for day trading. The 5 minutes will generally happen earlier in the trading day, and 15 minutes will be midday. I don't really care about divergence. I mean, the dollar's been showing bear divergence for how long now? I care more about price levels. They're concrete and clear. I mean, the dollar's been showing bear divergence for 3 months and it's still going up. Right here, when we hit this higher high and the RSI was nowhere near a higher high, that was certainly some notable divergence starting. And that was 3 months ago. All right, I appreciate you all tuning in. Again, I'm just sticking with the trends. 4-hour bounce. Can the bulls confirm an hourly trend change? If they do, the 4-hour bounce will have enough follow through to create space for an eventual trend change attempt. If we do not confirm the hourly trend change, then the 4-hour lower high may already be set. Coin has been a lead bear. Crypto stock, bunch of shorts jumped on it Thursday of last week, and it's followed through for them nicely. I shorted it some last week as well. Didn't swing it over the weekend. Would have worked out real well, but still a much weaker coin. Look at MARA divided or compared to coin today. Well, it's not holding up as good as I thought. Coin just had a much bigger gap down and stayed bearish all morning, whereas MARA had an hourly bounce a good bit of the morning. All right. Do good things. Check out the weekend videos. Check out the end of the day live stream for some trade reviews. Not live stream. End of the day market video. Check out the morning live stream tomorrow 9 a.m.